On this special episode of Front Lockout, we will explain how the G-force affects F1 drivers, and if you stay till the end, we will be giving you the top 9 F1 crashes in terms of G-force. Driving a Formula One car is a challenging task, both mentally and physically. Not only do drivers need to be capable of split-second reaction times to nail the perfect racing line and avoid accidents, but they also need to be capable of withstanding the intense G-forces generated by high-speed cornering. F1 cars are getting more advanced over the years. They are becoming capable of much greater speeds, both on the straights and in the corners. As a result, modern-day F1 drivers have to deal with much higher G-forces than they did in decades past. During cornering, drivers regularly experience forces between 4 and 6 G, which is quite a lot. The top 9 F1 largest crashes as measured by G-force. Jules Bianchi, 254 G. Jules lost control during the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix and collided with the rear of a tractor crane carrying the car of Adrian Seudel, who had lost control at the same corner. Put into a medically induced coma before succumbing to his injuries in 2015. David Purley, 179.8 G. During practice for the 1977 British Grand Prix, Purley's throttle stuck open and crashed into a wall. Until 2003, this was the highest G-force survived by a human. He would recover from his injuries and return to racing. Luciano Burdi, 111 G. The Prost of Luciano Burdi attempted to overtake Eddie Irvine during a rain-soaked 2001 Belgian Grand Prix, only for Irvine to be caught off guard and turn into him, causing the Jaguar to spin and rip off Burdi's front wing. With no downforce and no grip, the car crashed into a tire wall at 290 kph. He was out for the rest of the season with a concussion and facial bruising. Rubens Barrichello, 95 G. During qualifying for the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix, Rubens Jordan struck a curb and was sent airborne, crashing into a tire wall, and was knocked unconscious. He suffered only a sprained wrist and broken nose, but was forced to sit out the race. Ralf Schumacher, 78 G. During the 2004 United States Grand Prix, Schumacher's Williams suffered a tire failure on Indianapolis Turn 13, the only banked corner in F1 at the time, and crashed into the wall at a 90-degree angle. He suffered a concussion and 2 minor spinal fractures. This crash would repeat itself in 2005 on the same corner, albeit with much less severe injuries. Robert Kubica, 75 G. While attempting an overtake at the 2007 Canadian Grand Prix, Kubica hit the back of Jarno Trulli's Toyota, which sent him onto the grass. Striking a bump, his BMW Sauber went airborne and crashed into a concrete wall where the car disintegrated. Despite the severity of the crash, with his feet even sticking out at the end, he had only suffered a sprained ankle and concussion. He would be replaced at the following race by test driver Sebastian Vettel. Alan McNish, 69 G. While qualifying for the 2002 Japanese Grand Prix, McNish lost control of his Toyota going into Suzuka's 130R corner and crashed backwards through the safety barrier. Despite suffering no major injuries and qualifying 18th, he was still unfit to race. He would not race in F1 again following this crash. Romain Grosjean, 67 G. On the first lap of the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix, Grosjean's Haas clipped the wing of Daniel Kvyat's AlphaTauri, sending him into a barrier at close to 200 kph. The car was pushed into the barrier and separated, causing a massive fireball. He would escape with only second-degree burns to his hands and credits the halo, introduced in 2018, with saving his life. Max Verstappen, 51 G. On the opening lap of the 2021 British Grand Prix, Verstappen collided with Lewis Hamilton going into Turn 9, which sent the Red Bull spinning more than 180 degrees and struck the barrier at a sideways angle. He was reported to be disoriented after the crash, but suffered no major injuries. He was fit to race at Hungary, qualifying P3 and finishing P10, later P9. If you like our episode, endeavor to subscribe to our channels. Thank you, and see you on the next one.